If you are born in 90s, don't you remember the times when you sit on your couch for hours and hours facing your television? It is when times are so young and tablets and cell phones don't exist. No online games were available, no texting and chatting, and no social medias. All we have back then to play to inside our homes is our own video games. Family computer games. So let's start, guys. Today, we will count down our most favorite family computer games. Rating 10 to 1, and 1 will be the best. This is just based on the ratings we based on reviews we saw online. Let's start from 10. Number 10. Battle City. Battle City is a multi-directional shooter video game made in 1985 by Namco. It is played by controlling a tank that must destroy enemy tanks in each level. The enemy's goal is to destroy the player's base imaged as an eagle. A level is completed when the player destroys all 20 enemy tanks. But the game ends if the player's base is destroyed or the player loses all its lives. Pause for a while. Can you guess our number 9 by hearing this sound? Feeling old, right? Yeah. You got it. It's Twinbee. Who would forget the hype sounds of this game that will make you dance and be hyper while playing? This game was one of my favorite two-player games. I remember merging with the other player to make a different beam bullet to shoot to enemies. The game is a cartoon-themed vertical-scrolling shoot-'em-up game. Originally released by Konami as a coin-operated video game in 1985 in Japan. It was the very first game to run on Konami's Bubble system hardware. Twinbee was ported to the Family Computer and MSX in 1986. And has been included in numerous compilations released in later years. As with other games of the same genre, getting shot by a single enemy bullet will cause the player to lose a life. However, if the bullet only strikes either side of the ship instead, the player's ship will only lose one of its arms. If the player's ship loses both arms, it will lose the ability to throw bombs and the player must wait for an ambulance to arrive. The player must navigate their ship to the ambulance to repair their arms. If two players are playing at the same time, they can align their ships vertically or horizontally together to perform more powerful attacks. So, here, see more videos and be hype once more. Coming down for number 8. Ice Climber. Ice Climber is a vertical platform video game. Developed and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Family Computer in Japan. And the Nintendo Entertainment System in North America in 1985. The first player controls Popo, a boy wearing a blue Eskimo parka, while the second player controls Nana, a girl wearing a pink Eskimo parka. The only tool they carry is a wooden mallet to carve openings in the ice above and to club enemies. Each mountain level consists of 8 layers of colorful ice and a bonus stage. I wonder if once in your life you were frustrated playing this game. Number 7 is Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is a shooter game in which the objective is to shoot moving targets on the television screen in mid-flight. The game is played from a first-person perspective and requires the NES Zapper light gun, which the player aims and fires at the screen. It also requires a CRT television screen since the zapper gun will not work with LCD or HD TVs. Each round consists of a total of 10 targets to shoot, depending on the game mode the player selects prior to beginning play. 1 or 2 targets will appear on the screen at any given time and the player has 3 shots or attempts to hit them before they disappear. On number 6, it's Bomberman. I assumed that every family computer gamer played this game at least once. It was a game I saw my father and mother played. The game is played single and have 50 stages. Once you finish the 50th stage you will back again to stage 1 bringing all the power-ups you gathered and will again face weak to stronger enemies. Some power-ups I remember are increased bomb power, triggered explosion, increase in number of bombs, increase speed, ghost ups that make you pass through bombs and walls and immunity from bomb explosions. Oh boy. This is maybe the reason why I am into playing video games. This is by hereditary transmittal from my parent. Number 5 is Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is one of the earliest examples of the platform game genre. It is sometimes said to be the first platform game, although it was preceded by Space Panic. In contrast to Space Panic, however, Donkey Kong was the first platform game to feature jumping, introducing the need to jump between gaps and over obstacles or approaching enemies, setting the template for the platform genre. Competitive video gamers and referees stress the game's high level of difficulty compared to other classic arcade games. Winning the game requires patience and the ability to accurately time Jumpman's ascent. In addition to presenting the goal of saving the lady, the game also gives the player a score. Points are awarded for finishing screens, leaping over obstacles, destroying objects with a hammer power-up, collecting items such as hats, parasols, and purses, apparently belonging to the Lady Pauline, and completing other tasks. The player typically receives 3 lives with a bonus awarded for the first 7,000 points. Although this can be modified via the game's built-in dip switches. On number 4. Mappy. The player guides Mappy the police mouse through the mansion of the cats called the Mulekeys to retrieve stolen goods. The player uses a left-right joystick to move Mappy and a single button to operate doors. The mansion has 6 floors of hallways in which the stolen items are stashed. The items come in pairs. Should Mappy get paired items one after another, the point values of the second matching item gets a multiplier. The second item of a pair will blink if retrieving it will yield a multiplier. The more the player retrieves matching items without dying, the bigger the multiplier gets. Therefore, ideally a player will start with the lowest value item. Tape player for 100 plus 100 times 2. And proceed to the highest value item. Save for 500 plus 500 times 6. In order to get the highest value items with the biggest multiplier, for a total of 8,500 points. Mappy and the cats move between floors by bouncing on trampolines at various places in the house. Both Mappy and the cats can land on a floor on the way up, but not on the way down. When they pass in the air, Mappy is unharmed by the cats, but should Mappy run into a cat anywhere else, he will lose a life. Our number 3 on our list is Adventure Island. Hudson's Adventure Island, also known simply as Adventure Island, is a side-scrolling platform game produced by Hudson Soft that was first released in Japan. It is for the Famicom and MSX on September 12, 1986. It was later released in North America for the Nintendo Entertainment System on September 1988 and in the PAL region in 1992 under the title of Adventure Island Classic. Adventure Island is an adaptation of the arcade game Wonder Boy. Originally published by Sega for developer Escape, now known as Westone Bit Entertainment, Adventure Island was followed by a series of sequels that were independently developed. The player controls Master Higgins, a young man who ventured to Adventure Island in the South Pacific. This is after hearing that the evil witch doctor kidnapped Princess Lalani. To rescue her, Higgins must survive a series of 32 stages. There are 8 worlds called areas, which are divided 4 stages or rounds each, which are further divided into 4 checkpoints. When the player reaches the 4th round of each area, he must confront a boss at the end to continue to the next area. The game is completed when the player saves the girl, and after defeating the 8th and final form of the Evil Lord. Two remain. What is your bet game? I believe this last 2 are also your favorite games for family computer. So, here we start. At number 2, Contra. Contra, known as Probotector and occasionally Grisor in Europe and Oceania, is a 1987 run-and-gun action game developed and published by Konami. Originally released as a coin-operated arcade game on February 20, 1987. A home version was released for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1988. Along with ports for various computer formats, including the MSX2. The home versions were localized in the PAL region as Grisor on the various computer formats, and as Probotector on the NES, released later. Several Contra sequels were produced following the original game. In Contra, the player controls one of 2 armed military commandos named Bill Mad Dog Riser and Lance Scorpion Bean, who are sent on a mission to neutralize a terrorist group called the Red Falcon Organization that is planning to take over the Earth. Details of the game's setting varies between supplementary materials. The Japanese version sets the game in the year 2633 on the fictional Galuga archipelago, near New Zealand, whereas the manual for the American NES version sets the game during the present in an unnamed South American island. The American storyline also changes the identity of Red Falcon from being the name of a terrorist organization to the name of an alien entity. And now for our final game, the number 1 game on our list. It is no other than Mario Brothers. On this game, the player takes on the role of the main protagonist of the series, Mario. Mario's younger brother, Luigi, is only playable by the second player in the game's multiplayer mode, and assumes the same plot role and functionality as Mario. The objective is to race through the Mushroom Kingdom, survive the main antagonist Bowser's forces, and save Princess Toadstool. The player moves from the left side of the screen to the right side, in order to reach the flagpole at the end of each level. The game world has coins scattered around it for Mario to collect, and special bricks marked with a question mark, which when hit from below by Mario, may reveal more coins or a special item. Other, secret, often invisible, bricks may contain more coins or rare items. If the player gains a red and yellow super mushroom, Mario grows to double his size and can take one extra hit from most enemies and obstacles. In addition to being able to break bricks above him, players are given a certain number of lives, and may gain additional lives by picking up green and orange 1-up mushrooms, collecting 100 coins, defeating several enemies in a row with a Koopa shell, or bouncing on enemies successively without touching the ground. One life is lost when Mario takes damage while small, falls in a pit, or runs out of time. The game ends when all lives are lost. Mario's primary attack is jumping on top of enemies, though many enemies have differing responses to this. For example, a Goomba will flatten and be defeated, while a Koopa Troopa will temporarily retract into its shell, allowing Mario to use it as a projectile. These shells may be deflected off a wall to destroy other enemies, though they can also bounce back against Mario, which will hurt or kill him. Another attack, for enemies standing overhead, is to jump up and hit beneath the brick that the enemy is standing on. Another is the Fire Flower. When picked up, this item changes the color of Super Mario's outfit and allows him to throw fireballs, or only upgrades Mario to Super Mario if he has not already. A less common item is the Starman, which often appears when Mario hits certain concealed or otherwise invisible blocks. This item makes Mario temporarily invincible to most hazards, and capable of defeating enemies on contact. So, there you have it. Our top 10 family computer games. If you relate and you find our content interesting, please don't forget to like our video. Thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, so we can post more for you, our viewers. That's it guys. See you.